Hey everybody, some gadget guy with a quick comparison between the LG G Watch R and the Moto 360. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of device versus device, fight for blood kinds of videos, but we now have two examples of what a circular display on Android Wear should look like, and these companies have taken slightly different approaches to implementing that on our wrists. Starting off the conversation with style, design, and aesthetics, Motorola definitely has the bolder vision for a circular display, aping some of those Movado watches that you can find in jewelry stores, a bold, minimal, modern design. Whereas LG's approach looks a little bit more like a classic chronograph. Little notches running around the front of the face for a second hand, and then the body of the watch extends into the arms that then connect to the watch band. Now, just putting these two watches side by side, the Moto 360 definitely makes the bolder first impression, but in my opinion, the G Watch R wears a little bit nicer on the wrist. Snapping the Moto 360 on, where the watch band connects to the bottom of the watch housing with no taper from the rest of the watch body, I just can't help but feel that this feels like a little bit more of a lump just sticking off the side of my wrist. While LG's solution here is also a big and bold watch, I feel that it wears a little bit more like a traditional watch. Just a quick size comparison between the two, you can see that the display on the 360 is a little bit larger than the display on the G Watch R. The bodies are pretty similar in terms of overall size, and they're pretty similar in terms of overall thickness as well. Though I gotta say, I really do like how both of these watches have put power buttons where we would normally find a crown piece on a traditional watch. And that brings us to performance, and I gotta say, LG has run away with a really solid victory here. I really thought that the ambient light sensor in the Moto 360 was going to make a bigger difference in terms of things like battery life, but runtime on the G Watch R has been noticeably better than runtime on the Moto 360. Motorola's solution can get laggy and a little stuttery at the most inopportune times. It doesn't feel quite as fluid navigating. I mean, look at how that kind of stutters just moving through some of those overflow transitions. I mean, the G Watch R is just smooth as silk, and it seems to do a better job of responding to a more flick of a gesture as opposed to the 360, which seems to require a very deliberate slide on the screen. If I just try and flick, it doesn't always capture that response as well. All of the side features between these two watches are pretty evenly matched. They both have excellent heart rate monitors on the back for those of you who are into fitness or fitness tracking applications. The Moto 360 has the handy feature of including wireless charging, but on the few QI chargers that I haven't really been able to use it with anything other than its charging cradle. And if you have to use a proprietary dock, I'd much rather be traveling with the little magnetic charge cradle that you have on the LG G Watch rather than the prop up stand cradle that you have with the Moto 360. I think it's really cool that when you slot the 360 into this charger, it becomes something of like a little mini clock that you can keep by your bedside table. But if space is at a premium, if you're traveling a lot, I'd much rather have a lower profile design that I can just snap in place. So folks, I am not one to say that there is ever a clear winner or clear victor between two different devices, especially because your usage, your requirements for buying something like this probably won't be the same as mine. And especially for those of you folks out there looking for the bolder, more modern design, the Moto 360 is probably going to speak a lot to those of you looking at the fashion and style of wearing a smart computing device on your arm. But in terms of overall performance, the snappiness of the UI, and the better battery life, I've got to give it to the LG G Watch R. I simply just enjoy using this watch more than I have the Moto 360. And the difference in performance between these two watches does kind of speak to the price difference. The Moto 360 on a leather band is going to run around $250, and the G Watch R climbs up to that $299 price point. And for me personally, were I shopping one of the more expensive entries in the Android Wear ecosystem, I would probably side with paying a little bit more for the G Watch R just for the better performance. But of course, I want to hear from you folks. What is it that draws you to a premium Android Wear experience? Are we starting to see the features and settings and performance that would actually convince you to part with your own cash to own one of these types of devices? Definitely drop me a comment down below because those are the kinds of conversations I love getting into. And I'll of course leave links down below this video for more information on both of these watches and where you can shop them online. As always folks, thanks so much for watching, and be sure to hit the subscribe button for more comparisons and reviews like these. And I would not be able to continue producing these videos if you all weren't out there sharing them with your family, friends, and on social media. So I can't thank you enough for bringing more cool people to the party. Hit that thumbs up button, and I will catch you all on the next comparison.